analysis is performed during an ongoing attack, and its results also generated simultaneously. So it has become easier to respond to the attacks immediately. Such an analysis is more effective if the investigators detect the attack quickly. Unlike in post-mortem analysis, the investigators may be able to examine the log file only once to evaluate the attack, as time plays a crucial role in real-time analysis. Now, in post-mortem, investigator performs a post-mortem analysis of logs to detect and study an incident that may have already occurred in a network or a device. Here, an investigator can examine the log files several times to analyze and verify the sequence of events that led to the incident. When compared to real-time analysis, it is an exhaustive process. In real-time analysis, it is performed during an ongoing attack. Such an analysis is more effective. Unlike in post-mortem analysis, the investigator may be able to examine the log file only once to evaluate the attack. Now, there are different kinds of attack on network. So we discuss one by one. So the first one is eavesdropping. So eavesdropping is a technique used to intercept unsecured connection in order to steal personal information. Next is data modification. In this, when an intruder obtains access to sensitive information, they might alter or delete the data as well. This is commonly referred to as a data modification attack. Next, IP address spoofing. In this technique, it is used by an attacker to access any computer without appropriate authorization. Here, the attacker sends message to the computer with an IP address that indicates the message are coming from a trusted host. Denial of services. In a denial of services attack, the attacker floods the target with large amount of invalid traffic, thereby exhausting the resources available on the target. The target then stops responding to further incoming requests, leading to a denial of services for legitimate users. Man-in-the-middle attack. The attacker establishes independent connection with the users and relay the message being transferred among them, thus tricking them into assuming that their conversation is direct. Packet sniffing. Sniffing refers to the process of capturing traffic flowing through a network with the aim of obtaining sensitive information such as username and password and using them for legitimate purpose. In a computer network, a packet sniffer captures the network packets. Software tool like Cain and Abel. Cain and Abel software also able to crack the keys or password of Windows system. Next is enumeration. Enumeration is the process of gathering information about a network, which may subsequently be used to attack the network. Attackers usually perform enumeration over the internet. So during enumeration, the following information has been collected, like topology of the network, list of live hosts, architecture and the kind of traffic, like TCP, UDP, or IPX, and potential vulnerabilities in host system. Session hijacking. A session hijacking attack refers to the exploitation of a session token generation mechanism or token security control such that the attackers can establish an unauthorized connection with the target server. Buffer overflow. Buffer have a certain data storage capacity. If the data count exceeds the original capacity of a buffer, then buffer overflow occurs. To maintain finite data, it is necessary to develop buffers that can direct additional information when they need. The extra information may overflow into neighboring buffers that may destroy or overwriting legitimate data. Email infection. This attack uses email as a means to attack a network. Email spanning and other means are used to flood a network and cause a denial of service attack. Malware attack. It is a kind of malicious code or software designed to infect system and affect their performance. Attackers attempt to deceive users into installing malware on their system. Once installed, the malware damages the system. Next is password-based attack. It is a process where the attackers perform numerous login attempts on a system or an application to duplicate a valid login and gain access to it. And the final common attack is router attack. So in this attack, an attacker attempts to compromise a router and gain access to it. Now, attacks specific to wireless network. So the first one is rogue access point attack. In rogue access point attack, a wireless access point can be termed rogue if it has been installed within a VLAN without the authorization of the network administrator. Such access points are set up by both insider and outsider with malicious intent and can be used for data exploration or launching other type of attack. Client misassociation attack begin when a client attach to an access point that is not in their own network. Due to the manner in which wireless signal propagate through walls and other structures. So a client system may detect an access point belonging to another network and attach to it, either accidentally or intentionally. In either case, the client may attach to a network that is unsafe, perhaps while still being connected to a secure network. Misconfigured access point attack. This attack occurs due to the misconfiguration of wireless access point. This is one of the easiest vulnerabilities that an attackers can exploit. Upon successful exploitation, the entire network could be open to vulnerabilities and attack. Unauthorized association. In this attack, an attackers exploit soft access point, which are WLAN radio present in some laptops. The attackers can activate these access points in the victim system through a malicious program and gain access to the network. Ad hoc connection attack. In an ad hoc connection attack, the attackers conduct the attack using a USB adapter or wireless card. In this method, the host connects with an unsecured station to attack a particular station or evade access point security. Next, honeypot access point attack. If multiple WLAN coexist in the same area, a user can connect to any available network. Such WLAN are highly vulnerable. An attacker exploits this behavior of wireless client by deploying an unauthorized wireless network using a rogue access point. This access point has high power antenna and uses the same SSID of the target network. Users who regularly connect to multiple WLAN may connect to the Raghu AP. These APs mounted by the attackers are referred to as honeypot access points. They transmit a stronger beacon signal than the legitimate access point. Network interface card searches for the strongest available signal may connect to the Raghu AP. If an authorized user connected to a honeypot access point, it creates a security vulnerability and reveals sensitive information such as identity, username, password to the attackers. Access point MAC spoofing. Using the MAC spoofing technique, the attackers can reconfigure the MAC address so that it appears to be an authorized access point to a host on a trusted network, such as change mac.sh and smac are used for conducting such attack. And the last one is jamming attack. One particularly interesting method of attacking a WLAN is to resort to a plain old denial of service attack. Although there are many ways to do this, one of the easiest is to just jam the network, thus preventing it from being used. So it is possible to use a specially designed jammer or maybe radio transmitter that will transmit signal that can overram and deny the use of the access point by legitimate clients. Now we'll discuss network attack. So network attack may be on topology of the network, list of live hosts, architecture and the kind of network, potential vulnerabilities in host systems. So these are the major through which network attack possible. Now indicator of compromise. Indicator of compromise are digital forensic artifacts that helps detect a security incident that has occurred on a host system or a network. These artifacts includes log related to system, application, network, firewall, etc. The term indicator of compromise generally refers to an evidence item pointing to any security intrusion that has taken place on a host system. When a security incident such as an attack on network component occurs, the activities of the attackers can be traced by examining the effect system and the log entries stored in it. Security intrusions can occur in many different forms and via various channels. So therefore, forensic investigators need to look for signs that indicate a breach, such as a sudden spike in outbound network traffic and unusual activities. So the major indicators of compromise are unusual outbound network traffic, uniform resource locator, or you can say URLs, user agent strings, login anomalies, increased number of requests for same file, and network traffic traversing on unusual port. Now, some of the common example of IOCs are as unusual outbound network traffic. So in this, unusual increase in the outbound traffic could be a sign of ongoing attack. In case of URL, malicious URL that are open often spread via phishing and spamming are considered potential indicator of compromise. User agent strings informs the server regarding visiting devices operating system, browser information, etc. Login in anomalies. In this, there is an increase in the number of failed login attempts on a user account would be sign of malicious activity. When increase number of requests for same file, that means attacker perform many requests to inflate a network which leave the traces of malicious activity. Network traffic traversing on unusual ports. So normally standard applications like web, so standard port 80 and 443s are dedicated, but there is a chance that you get the request or response in some other port number for the web applications. That means program used by hacker using unusual ports and pretending to be legitimate. Now question arises where to look for evidence. So logs collected in network devices and application can be used as a evidence for investigating network security incident. So there are every system that sends and receives information has a TCP/IP program. So in TCP/IP based programs consist two layers. The first one is high layer. This layer manages the information sent and received in the form of small data packets, transmitters over internet, and combine all those packets into a main message. The second layer is lower level. In this lower layer, it handles the address of every packet so that they all reach the right destination. Now, network-based evidence found in each layer of TCP/IP model. So we discuss one by one. So we have divided the function layer at which in TCP/IP model, the protocols and the network devices and application logs are there. So the function is like handling high-level protocols, issue of representation, encoding, and dialog control that may occur at application layer. And the protocol used are FTP, TFTP, NFS, SMTP, SNMP, DNS. And the network devices involved at this level are server, desktop, antivirus, business applications, and database. Now the next function is provides a logical connection between the endpoints and provide transport. This may occur at transport layer. And the protocol used at this layer is TCP and UDP. And the devices which may use at this layer are firewall, intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system. Now select the best path through the network for data flow. For this, it may occur at internet layer. So internet protocol IP, ICMP, internet control message protocol, ARP, address resolution protocols are used. And the devices which use these protocol at this layer are firewall, intrusion detection system, intrusion prevention system, and virtual private network. And next is define how to transmit an IP datagram to the other devices. That may occur at network layer. And the protocols we are using are SLIP, PPPP, FDDI, ATM, frame relay, SMDS, ARP, proxy ARP, RARP. And the devices use such protocols are routers and switches. Now in the OSI model, if we are compared with the TCP/IP model, So first three layers of OSI model, application layer, presentation layer, session layer, is considered as application layer in TCP/IP model. Transport layer as synonymous to transport layer in TCP/IP. Network layer also synonymous with internet layer in TCP/IP model. Physical and data link layer of OSI model synonymous to network access layer. So the OSI 7-layer model and the TCP/IP 4-layer model, as shown in the figure, the TCP/IP model and OSI 7-layer model are similar in appearance. So this is the way how OSI model has been synonymous with TCP/IP model. Now the types of network-based evidence available are full content data, session data, alert data, and statistical data. So these four kind of information available on network-based, considered as a network-based evidence. In full content data refers to the actual packet that are collected by the storing the network traffic, or you can say PCAP files. Investigators can use tool like TCP dump or Wireshark. Session data refers to a summary of conversation between two network entities. It includes such as a destination IP and destination port, source IP and source port, start time of the session, and amount of information exchange during the session. In statistical data provide overall profile or summaries of the network traffic. Statistical data analysis can provide investigator with useful information such as timestamp, protocol, services, packet size, and average packet rate. Now we have to go for understand event correlation concept and its type. As the complexity of a network increases, the number of alarms, alert, and messages generated by application and other devices also increases. So correlating event based on certain parameters provide investigators with an insight into how the event followed and whether they relate to each other. So event correlation is a technique used to assign a new meaning for relating a set of events that occur in a fixed amount of time. In this technique, a few events that are important are identified among the large number of events. So during the process of event correlation, new events may occur and replace some existing event from the event stream. In general, investigators can perform the event correlation process on a log management platform. Let's take two examples of event correlation. So example one user gets 10 login failure events in 5 minutes. So this generates a security attack event. In second case, if both the external and internal temperature of a device exceed a threshold and the event device is not responding occurs, all within a span of 5 seconds, replace them with the event device down due to overheating. So uses of event correlator software aid in the implementation of the event correlation process. The event correlator tools collect information about event originating from monitoring tools, management elements, or the trouble ticket system. While collecting the events, the tool processes relevant events that are important and discard events that are not relevant. So the steps in event correlations are, the first one is event aggregation. So in the event aggregation, it compiles the repeated events to a single event and avoid the duplication of the same event. We also called event aggregation as event deduplication. Now next is event masking. Event masking refers to missing events related to system that are downstream of a failed system. It avoids the events that cause the system to crash or fail. Event filtering, the event correlator filters or discard irrelevant events. Root cause analysis is the most complex part of the event correlation. During a root cause analysis, the event correlator identifies all devices that become inaccessible due to network failure. Then the event correlator categorizes the event into symptoms events and root cause events. So the system considers the event associated with the inaccessible device as symptom events and the other non-symptom event as root cause events. Now we go for type of event correlations. So the type of event correlations method. So the correlation method is used. So first one is sample same platform correlation. This correlation method is used when one common operating system is used throughout the network in an organization. The second one is same platform. So here it is different operating system and network hardware platform are used in the network of an organization. So two possibilities are there. There is a first is same platform and another one is different platform correlation. Or now the prerequisite of event correlations are, the first one is transmission of data. Transmitting log data from one security device to another until it reaches a consolidation point in the automated system. To have a secure transmission and reduce the risk of exposure during transmission, the data must be encrypted and authenticated. Normalization. Once data is gathered, it must be formatted again from different log format to a single or polymorphic log that can be easily inserted into the database. Data deduction. After collecting the data, the repeated data must be removed so that the data can be correlated more efficiently. Removing unnecessary data can be done by compressing the data, deleting repeated data, filtering, or combining similar events into a single event and sending that to the correlation engine. Now, the event correlation approaches. The first one is graph-based approach. In the graph-based approach, various dependencies between system component such as network device, host, and services are first identified. In neural network-based approach, in this, we detect the anomalies in the event stream, root cause of fault event, and correlate other events related to fault and failures. In codebook-based approach, which is similar to the rule-based approach, described next group all events together. In rule-based approach, here we correlate events according to a specified set of rules. In field-based approach, that compares specific event with single or multiple field in the normalized data. Automated field correlation that checks and compare all the fields systematically for positive and negative correlation among them to determine correlation across one or multiple fields. Packet parameter or payload correlation for network management. Here, a particular packet with other packets are correlated. In profile finger-based approach, this approach helps user to identify whether a system served as a relay to hacker or is a formally compromised host, and to detect the same hacker from different locations. The vulnerability-based approach helps make intrusion detection system events that target a vulnerable host by using a vulnerability scanner. Next is open port-based correlation. In this, the approach is to determine the chance of successful attack by comparing the list of open port available on the host with those that are under attack. The next is Bayesian correlation. This is an advanced correlation approach that predicts what an attacker can do next after the attack by studying the statistics and probability theory and uses only two variables. Another one is time or role-based approach. This approach leverages data on the behavior of computers and their users to trigger alert when anomalies are found. In root correlation, help in extracting information about the attack route and uses that information to identify further data pertaining to the attack. Now, after collecting logs from various network devices and applications, investigator must monitor and examine them for indicator of compromise, which indicate that a security breach may have occurred. Indicator of compromise are generally found in the metadata of logs, which require careful monitoring and examination. Now we discuss about firewall. So firewall, we first analyzing firewall logs. So firewall is a software or hardware. Firewall available in both format, hardware or software, that store detail of all the data packet moving in and out of the network. It acts as a first point of entry into a network and thus help prevent hackers and certain malware from getting into any PC through a network or the internet. The software performs this task by checking information that is coming from the internet or a network, and then either blocking it or allowing it to pass through to the PC. The firewall log file can be useful for determining the cause of program failure. So in the context of network forensic, investigator needs to analyze the log carefully based on the timing and suspicious IP addresses. Firewall also check application generated requests, DNS queries, suspicious IP addresses, and URL also. The investigators can then correlate these logs with other suspicious activity to detect the source and other target of the attacks. Now in Cisco, mnemonics are used as identifiers to represent severity of an event. The table shown in the next slide are the most common logs messages and their associated severity level. The identifier aids in identification when using command line tools. So this is a list of mnemonics used in Cisco. So in the first column, mnemonics numbers are given. In the second column, severity level, and the description of vulnerability is given on the last column. As you see in the Cisco firewall log details, 6 essential parameters has been covered. So that are date and time, this is date and time, as you see in here, Feb 24, 2016, 9:14, 9 hours, 14 minutes, 54 seconds. In the second, there is a mnemonics message, percentage ASA -6 -106100. What kind of action taken by firewall is shown here. So here denied TCP. In the fourth level, source IP address and port. So here 192.168.150.65 /2278. So here 2278 represent the port number, and 192.168.150.65 represent the source IP address, and to whom it may contact. So destination IP address and port that may be shown here, right? That is 168.150.77. This is the insider IP address. Now the last one is type of request. So type of request is HIT-CNT, one first hit, and the hex code has given. So this is the sample of Cisco firewall log, and all these fields are useful to investigator looking for IOC, indicator of compromise. With the help of mnemonics, the severity of the incident can also be figured out. Now, another firewall that is provided from the checkpoint. So investigator can use the application checkpoint and the log viewer to view checkpoint firewall logs. The application user color coding to differentiate error severity as mentioned in the table below. So here you see that when anything is given or shown on the red, that means it represents the connection attempt blocked by the firewall. Orange represent the warning messages, which signifies traffic detected as suspicious but accepted by the firewall. Blue represent the information which is accepted by the firewall. So now, analyzing the firewall log of checkpoint, you observe here that some information in red, some information in orange, and some informations in blue. So as you seen in the previous slide, what is the meaning of red, orange, and blue? So this is a sample of checkpoint firewall log viewer. And it also uses icons and color in the log table to represent different security events and their severity, right? Now here we get the more information related to checkpoint firewall. So some are in blue, that means it is information. Some are in oranges, that means firewall accepted and it generates the warning message. Some are red, means firewall denied, go through. Now next we discuss about the intrusion detection system. So now we analyzing the ID intrusion detection system logs. So basically IDS logs provide information helpful in finding suspicious packet type, determining probes, generating new attack signatures, and measuring attack statistics. So some of the common IDS devices and tools, including Juniper, Checkpoint, and Snort. These are the three major market players in IDS are Juniper, Checkpoint, and Snort. So in addition to monitoring and analyzing event to identify undesirable activity, IDS technologies typically perform the functions and that are recording information related to observed event. So in this, an IDS usually records information locally and transmit this information to separate system such as centralized logging server, security information, and event management. In short, we are saying SIEM or SIM, solution and enterprise management system. The next function is notifying security administrator. So an IDS alert the network security administrator through emails, pages, messages on the IDS user interface, simple network management protocol traps, system log messages, and user-defined program and scripts. The next function is producing reports. An IDS of a report that summarize the monitored event or provide detail on specific event of interest. It also analyzing these reports along with the logs can provide administrators with a clear idea on the event that occurred and help them take appropriate measures. So the general indicator of intrusion in IDS logs are to request target towards known vulnerabilities, failure to comply with protocols and syntaxes, unexpected elements such as date, time, and system resources, repeated unusual network activity, address anomalies in traffic, and occurrence of mistyped command. Now, next device we are discussing is honeypots. So honeypots also generate logs. So the main purpose of honeypots devices that are deployed to bait attackers. The honeypots are the dummy system used to understand the strategies of the attackers and protect the organization from the attacks. So the Kippo is a commonly used honeypots to trick attackers and understand their methodology in order to minimize the risk of actual attacks. So now we go in detail of honeypot log details. So it consists timestamp. Here you see there is a timestamp 8th February 2016, 14 hours, 33 minutes, 27 seconds. Then it uses type of session. So session type is SSH. The third one is session ID and source IP address. And the fourth one is message with other details. Now we discuss about routers and its log. So routers store network connectivity logs with details such as date, time, source, and destination IPs and ports used. This information can help investigators in verifying the timestamps of an attack. This also enables investigator to correlate various events to identify the source and destination IP. Routers can various standard for storing and log detail of a network. Suppose you want to config terminal logging 192.168.1.1. So in the course of network hacking incident or unauthorized access scenario, all logs pertaining to the attack are stored in the compromised device, which may be router, switch, database, intrusion detection system, internet service provider, or application server. An investigator then may use the collected log to identify, gather, and save suspicious log along with the firewall protocol for investigation purpose. This process requires the analysis of log, which can be conducted either manually or with the help of log analyzing tool. So after analyzing the log, filters are applied to eliminate unnecessary data. So let's have an example of one router lab. So date and time, source IP addresses, source port number, destination IP address, and destination port. So these three things are available in a router's log. This syntax of log file generated by another router may be different. I am taking the example of Cisco router log. So the first one is, here is incoming log detail. Now I am discussing the outgoing log. So outgoing log are shown as in this picture. What it consists? It consists date, it consists time, it consists source IP address, source port, URL access, URL IP address, and port use. Now Cisco networking software called iOS is the networking software used in Cisco router. Though OS has built-in security manager that defines policies regarding basic logging parameters. The iOS security technology acts as a shield for the business process against attack and disruption, and protected privacy, as well as support policies and regulatory compliance control. Cisco iOS helps user to classify logs using certain predefined identifiers or mnemonics as shown in table. Cisco ASA provide log messages that are useful in Cisco iOS software. So router log messages do not contain numerical identifiers that assist in identifying the messages. Cisco router generate log messages with detailed descriptions, which are most likely to be useful when analyzing security-related incident. However, many organizations do not make extensive use of logging on routers because router logging is somewhat limited. So Cisco iOS helps user to classify logs using certain predefined identifiers or mnemonics as you see in that table. So there are 8 severity level of classification of syslog messages on Cisco iOS router. There is a number and corresponding name for each severity level for identification. The lower the number is, the greater is the severity of the message. As you see in the message, the number is 0, means emergency, and in the description it is written that it is a system is unusable messages. Now, for the common in which outgoing and inbound both are covered, right? So the first one is event ID. Each event has a unique ID along with date, time, identifier, protocol supplied, source IP address, destination IP address. So these 7 information available on the Cisco router log, which helps the investigator to investigate after occurring of breach. Now we are talking about DHCP log details. DHCP server allocates an IP address to a computer in a network during its startup. So DHCP server log contain information regarding systems that were assigned specific IP address by the server at any given instance. So investigator can examine these logs during forensic examination. DHCP server store DHCP log in two places. The first one is in System32 DHCP folder, and the second backup in DHCP/backup folder. So in DHCP log, 7 identifiers are there. The first one is ID, which is related to event ID, date, time, description of the DHCP server event, IP address of the client, host name of the client, and MAC address used by the network adapter hardware of the client is stored there. So this is a sample of the DHCP log, and each event ID has some meaning. So that is also shown here. Now we investigate network traffic. So traffic flow on the network often provide the earliest indication of an attack. Once an intrusion is suspected, investigators need to perform network traffic analysis, which involves real-time monitoring of the network traffic. Now we discuss how to monitor and analyze network traffic for various kinds of attack, such as DOS attack, password cracking, man-in-the-middle, and malware activities. Now, why investigate network traffic? Network investigation involves probing into conversation between two devices by intercepting and investigating the traffic. It helps to detect any suspicious activity or misuse and aid in detecting the sign of an ongoing attack on the network. Investigator can identify various aspects of an attack by investigating the network traffic, such as the attacker's IP address, the device targeted, and the applications and protocol being used. It is effective in detecting attacks such as denial of services, malware activities, and scanning attempts, and monitoring events that are recorded on the host, such as login attempts, failures, and malicious file downloaded. Suspicious packets or other information can be then signed out and collected as event. Monitoring network traffic during network forensic investigation entail the following objective. And the first objective is to detect and examine an ongoing attack by monitoring network traffic communication patterns. The second objective is to know which host or network are involved in a network security incident. The next objective is to trace information packets related to a security intrusion and collect them as evidence. Now, gathering evidence via sniffer. Sniffer is a computer software or hardware that can intercept and block traffic passing over a network. The information passing through a network is a valuable source of evidence for intrusion or anomalous connection. The need or to capture this information has led to the development of packet sniffer. Sniffers put network interface card in promises mode to allow them to listen to and capture all data transmitted over the network. Sniffer collect traffic from the network and transport layer other than the physical and data link layer. Investigate other network traffic. So there is a sniffing tool, TCP dump. TCP dump print out a description of the content of a packets on a network interface that match an input Boolean expression. Packet received by filter, the meaning of this depend on the operating system running TCP dump and possibly on the way the operating system was configured. Packet dropped by kernel is the number of packets that were dropped due to lack of buffer space. On platform that support the sign info signal, such as most Berkeley system device and digital trust Unix, it will report those counts when it receives a Signal signal in order to use. For further detail, you may visit www.tcpdump.org. Here, in this website, you get more about TCP dump and libpcap information. This is an example of TCP dump on command tool. So here you observe there is a command is TCP dump space -I space ETH0 means the first network card. Now it gives you the all information that the packets it captured, the source IP address, the destination IP address, port number, the domain on which it works. So more information, packet-wise packet is available with the help of TCP dump. Now we are talking about another sniffing tool that is called Wireshark. Wireshark is a graphical user interface network protocol analyzer. It lets the investigator interactively browse packet data from a live network or from a previously saved capture file. Wireshark natives capture file format in libcap format, which is also the format used by TCP dump and various other tools. Wireshark allow deep inspection of hundreds of protocols and provide the opportunities to investigator to perform live capture and offline analysis. It is compatible with Windows operating system, Linux, Macintosh, Solaris, FreeBSD, network Berkeley system device, and many more. Wireshark does not require identification of the type of file the investigator is reading. It will determine the file types by itself. So Wireshark is also capable of reading any file format that is compressed by using gzip file. Wireshark recognizes this directly from the file. So Wireshark main window shows 3 views of packets. It shows a summary line, briefly describing what the packet is. It shows a protocol tree, allowing the investigator to drill down to the exact protocol. or field. Finally, hexagram show exactly what the packet look like when it goes over the wire. So a set of filter for customized data display can be refined using display filter. So how Wireshark looks? Once you install Wireshark, it can assemble all the packets in a TCP conversation and show the investigator the ASCII or EBCDIC or in hex format. Display filters in Wiresharks are very powerful. The PCAP library perform packets capturing. The capture filter syntax follow the rules of the PCAP library. So this syntax is different from the display filter syntax. So Wireshark will compile, but will be unable to read compressed file. So for that, we can go for graphical user interface. Now there are various major components of Wireshark. The first one is file. This menu contain item to open, merge, capture, save, print, and export capture file. Edit menu item contain item to find a packet, time reference, mark one or more packet. It handles the configuration profiles and sets preferences. View menu consists the display of the captured data, including colorization of packets, font zoom, showing a packet in a separate window, expanding and collapsing the packet tree detail. The next menu is Go, which is used to navigate to a specific packet, including a previous packet, next packet, corresponding packet, first packet, and last packet. Now the last is Capture. This menu allows the capture to start, stop, and restart and edit capture filters. Now the first one is Analyze. This menu contain item to manipulate, display, and apply filters. So it has three options: follow TCP streams, which show TCP connections, for UDP, and for SSL stream. Another component is statistics. This menu contains option to display various statistics window, including a summary of the packet that have been captured, display protocol hierarchy statistics, IO graphs, flow graphs, and more. Then telephony, wireless, and other tools that may use Bluetooth or wireless statistics. For tools menu, ACL rules and using the Lua interpreter. Wireshark have a two kind of filters: capture filters and display filters. So capture filter supports limiting the packet capture to packet that match a capture filter. Capture filters are applied before starting a capture of the traffic on the selected interface. In case of display filter only to provide the output of the display of only those packets which are filtered during the capture. So a capture filter, how capture filter works? For this, let's take an example. So we set a capture filter for telnet that capture traffic to and from a particular host, like TCP port 23 and host IP address 10.0.0.0. 0.0.5. So this is our example. So as you see in the figure, what we do, we first go for a start here. You may click here on the start. Then it show the number of interfaces, wireless, Bluetooth or wired, that may available. So on which network interface card you may capture the data, that you may select. Then the next, when you select it, this window has come. And when you click on that, continuously it captures the different kind of packets, and it simultaneously analyze and give you the display in which you got the IP address, port number, date, event ID, destination IP address, protocol type, length of the packet, and the information regarding that packet. Suppose we take an example. Suppose you go to visit techpanda.org. Once you visit that site, or you may go for Gmail or Facebook, any website. So when you enter your credentials, right? When you enter your credentials, what happens? You are running Wireshark in another window. So you simply stop by clicking here. This is the red button for stop. Data for this one, techpanda.org, we have captured. We enter on it and then we stop. Right? So once we stop, now we go for filter and we type simple HTTP. When you enter HTTP, it gives the results of HTTP packets only. So here you see that the list of HTTP packets are coming and its length. And finally, you get that there is a request index.php and the protocol for that web page is HTTP 1.1 and the method of getting the information is post type. Once you get, then you click double on it and you observe here that email is equal to admin and the password is equal to password 2010. So this way, hackers able to get the username and password in a system, right? Now, up to this, any question from participant side? Yeah, please comment on chat box whether you understand how Wireshark work, because practical demonstration is not possible. Ongoing courses, we take the screenshots and try to understand. Okay, now I resume the session. Now we're talking about display filter in Wireshark. So display filters are used on captured packet. These are useful when the need to apply filters before starting packet capture is not required. Investigators can capture all the packets that traverse on the network and then sort the capture item using display filter. They enable administrators, investigators to concentrate on the packets they are more interested in while hiding the uninteresting ones. So they enable administrator or investigator to select packet based on protocol, the presence of a field, the value of a field, and a comparison between a field. So these 4 identifiers are available. Based on that, administrator or investigator select the packets. Now to define a new filter or edit an existing ones, you simply go to the capture filter or analyze. Now display filtering by protocol. This, as you observe here, 4 kind of things are available. So now I discuss one by one. So display filtering by protocol. So which kind of protocol you want? So in the previous example, we taking the protocol HTTP, right? Now next we monitoring the specific port. So for this, you may type TCP.port = 23, or you may type IP address 192.168.1.100, and the machine IP address is 192.168, and means you concatenate, means both conditions are true, then only you display the packets. Then filtering by multiple IP addresses. For this, you may given in this way. So by filtering by IP address, so you simply give the IP address. So any request or response related to the 10.0.0.4, only those packet shown by the inner output. Now other filters. So other filters also options like destination IP address, frame packet having length more than 400, not less than 400, or frame number, right? So this way we can make multiple combinations we have implemented in filters. Now next, some question is coming. Okay. Now we analyze traffic for TCP synchronization flood denial of services attack. Synchronization flooding is a type of denial of services attack in which the attackers send a large number of synchronization packets repeatedly to the target server using multiple spoofed IP address. In its reply to the synchronized packet, the server sends synchronized acknowledgement packet, but does not receive any acknowledgement packet to complete the 3-way TCP handshake process. Actually, in the TCP, there is a handshake process in which sync, acknowledge, and acknowledge. These 3 has been shared. As you know, that TCP is a connection-oriented protocol. So the attacker, what attacker did? The attackers quickly exhaust the CPU and RAM capacity of the target server and render it unresponsive, which eventually result in denial of services, right? So you need to monitor the traffic flow over the network with the help of Wireshark. So Wireshark is used to detect any abnormality in the TCP traffic. So one of the signs of a potential sync flooding attack is the presence of large volume of TCP sync packet of similar length in the target host. So as you see in the next image, that in the first column, there is a date, time is there. In the second column, as it's shown by 1, that it contains the source IP addresses. In the third column, destination IP address. In the fourth column, protocol, what kind of protocol has used. And here on the length and info, this is almost identical. And the port number is used 80 and the message is sync has been sent. So once a large volume of TCP sync packet is detected, you should navigate to statistics protocol hierarchy to examine the statistical value of each protocol. So basically, what investigator get? Investigator get the destination IP address, port number, which protocol is used. So based on that, same kind of information also available on the attacker PC also. So if they match, then it treated as a foolproof evidence. So this way we can go one by one and we found that how much byte or how much end packets we are received due to sync flooding. So attacker sent packet with both the sync and finish flag in an attempt to saturate the network bandwidth and cause a denial of services. So as you see in the image, you found that similar kind of sync flooding is there, similar kind of finish flooding is there. So to detect such suspicious attack, you should use the filter TCP.flags equal to 0x003 to detect a sync or finish flooding attack on Wireshark. So this helps you to find out how to find out sync, fin, flood, denial of services attack. Right? Now, how to crack FTP pass? So for that, we are using FTP protocol. We select the FTP protocol and same steps we are follow as we follow in the previous STTP or TCP flooding. But for FTP, instead of TCP 003 we are now using, apply the filter FTP dot response dot code equal 230, right? Now for SMB password cracking attempt, Wireshark would reveal several lock in attempt. As you see in the figure, this is a source IP address and destination IP address, length, session setup, index, user type, right? So what happens when you see here, which has been highlighted by yellow color, that you got almost same status logon failure, status logon failure, and you observe that 214, 214, 216, 238. So a very little variations are there. So that we can also, hackers can achieve same thing with the help of SMB packet flooding. So for this, you may filter with the help of status logon failure. So this filter you may use and you able to crack SMB password. Now, sniffing and man in the middle attacks. are form of eavesdropping, where an attacker captures packet by placing themselves between a client and a server. Attacker sniff the network traffic for sensitive information. So different technique may be used for sniffing the traffic depending on the type of networking. So sniffing is attempted using either an active form or passive form. So in active sniffing performed over a switch network is called active sniffing. Sniffing performed on the hub is called passive sniffing. So an attacker uses MAC flooding and ARP poisoning to sniff network traffic, which can then serve as basis for launching man-in-the-middle attack. So identify sniffing attempt by detecting the signs of MAC flooding and ARP poisoning using Wireshark. So in active sniffing, attackers inject packets into the network traffic to obtain information from the switch, which maintain its own ARP cache known as content address memory. Anyone know how to get the ARP table record? Any participant may know how to get the ARP table record from switch. Are you aware about ARP protocol and RARP protocol? Please respond. May I request to all participants, please respond whether you know ARP and RARP table from how to get the ARP table. Okay, I will demonstrate you how to get the ARP and RARP table. You just go to the command prompt and you just type ARP space -A and you get the list of all the hosts which are present or connected to the switch by which I have connected. So this is the IP addresses and the MAC addresses of that machine. And this kind of information is stored in a switch. And the nature of the IP addresses are dynamic in nature. Only few IP addresses have a static. So this one is the static IP addresses and remaining are dynamic IP addresses because we are providing IP addresses to our clients via DHCP protocol or DHCP server. So now come back to our original Now we are talking about sniffing. Now we're talking about the passive sniffing. So passive sniffing are occur on hub, and in this, an attacker use MAC flooding or ARP poisoning to sniff network traffic. Now, our next job is to analyze traffic for MAC flooding attempt. So MAC flooding is an active sniffing method in which the attacker connects to a port on the switch. They send a flurry of Ethernet frames with various fake MAC addresses. The switch maintains a content addressable memory table which the attacker is trying to gain access to. Therefore, this attack is also known as CAM flooding attack. Wireshark consider MAC flooded packet as malformed packet. So as an investigator, you can detect a MAC flooding attempt using Wireshark by carefully analyzing the packet source and destination addresses, along with its time to live. This can be done by navigating to Analyze and Expert Information tab and examine the malformed packets. So this is the screenshot of capturing information of MAC flooding. So you may simply go visit the Analyze tab, then select the Expert Information, and you got the malformed packets information. Now, how it is possible to malform the attack? Actually, ARP maps the MAC address to an IP address. So in an ARP poisoning attack, an attacker changed their own MAC address to that of the target system. So all packets destined to the target system are redirected to the attacker's machines. An attacker can monitor the data flow in the network, spoof multiple devices on the network, and causes all the packet to be directed towards them instead. So Wireshark detect duplicate addresses on the ARP protocol with the warning messages, duplicate use of IP address detected. So you can use the filter ARP.duplicate -address -detected. So after capturing the packet to detect traces of an ARP poisoning attack, so you may observe that the IP address 192.168.0.54 has two different MAC addresses, which has been detected by Wireshark as duplication, as you've seen in this snap. Now, to detect the malware activity, the traces of malware infection can be found in the ongoing network traffic pattern. Once installed on the target machine, malware often try to connect to their command and control server for data exploitation or further instruction. It accomplishes this task by connecting to certain IP addresses or opening certain ports on the target system, which can be targeted by tools like Wireshark. So run Wireshark in the system that is suspected to be infected by malware and inspect the port and analyze. So once you go to any website and you find out that the target host, by using the 1177 post, the execution of malware sample which appears suspicious. So what you do, you simply visit speedguide.net and you got some information. So that I demonstrate you, right? So what now I'm demonstrating you how it occurs. I simply open one tab and I go to the speedguide.net. So this is a speedguide.net is there. Now I open /port.php. So here you get nothing because I'm not defining the port. So once I define the port, right? Once I define the port, then I got the information for that particular port. So for that, I checked earlierly that it is used a get method rather than post method. So for that, I able to pass the parameter directly here. So I'm passing. So here you observe that earlier it not provide any information. Now it provide that the protocol is TCP, and on this port number, NJRAT malware default port. So there is a malware NJRAT, named of the malware is NJRAT, and this malware use the port number 1177 occasionally. So what NJRAT malware do? It can remotely access and control a victim's machines, operate the webcam, lock keystroke, steal credentials stored in browser, upload and download files, and update itself. It is widely used in Middle East area and known to be used for cyber criminal activities. So at present, 24,000 computers are infected with this malware. Now, this is the end of the course. If you have any question, you may please ask. So I request to all participants, please share your valuable suggestions and feedback for today's session. You just type your feedback and suggestion on chat. If you would like to audible conversation, you may unmute yourself or open your camera and discuss further for network forensics. Mr. Arif from Malaysia, please unmute yourself and give your suggestions, feedback for today's session on network forensics.
Hi. Is that my voice clear?
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
So for today, sharing was very great. I got a lot of knowledge today, and it's a very good presentation. Congratulations to you guys.
One more thing, have you completed all activities in our online platforms of day 1, day 2, day 3?
Yes, I already completed.
Okay. Today's activity day 4 is also activated. Now next participant, I Ong from Malaysia. You may please unmute yourself and share your views, suggestions, feedback regarding today's content. Okay, Jamie, madam, kindly share your views, content, today's content.
Hello, can you hear?
Yeah, you are audible.
Today I find today's content was quite helpful. No question for me.
Okay, what about the activities of day 1, day 2, day 3? Have you completed?
I did, but I think the day 3 I scored a bit lower, and then I tried to redo, and it doesn't allow me to do just now.
Okay. Now next participant, Lavanya from Singapore.
Hello, hi. Everything was really good. Yeah, especially today. I really learned a lot during Wireshark because we use it a lot in our workplace. So it was a very good content. So yeah, thank you.
Actually, I'm sorry for a live demonstration because it is an online course. So earlier this course is conducted in offline mode. So it is very easy, and no government legality has come when we running any such activities in our lab. So some restrictions are there while performing the live demonstration. Otherwise, if you are coming to India for attending this course in offline mode, definitely we will show you and give you the opportunity to work on checkpoint firewall, Cisco firewall, and there is another firewall from Nebero company. So we have 3 firewalls. So this is a good for you if you come in the upcoming courses, especially for offline, because you have a chance to work hands-on experience on such firewalls, routers, switches, or in software also.
Actually, ma'am, it is difficult to live an online demonstration to practical session for all of us. Not easy. If demonstrate in the classroom and you in the front of seat and same time hand-on expert try to this, so it is more easier. And moreover, in the real in offline training, the same course. Actually, I propose for the offline this. So I in this course also. Maximum visit is assigned in this course. One visit our top laboratory of the India in the Delhi cyber forensic lab, and another is the National Crime Record Bureau is also lab is there. So already in the plan, but unfortunately due to some reason I don't know, so they decided ki first start to online, then upcoming future it will be try to the offline. So I think what is your valuable suggestion in the feedback? So kindly mention ki, as per your think, ki what you think. Okay.
Now, may I request Muhammad Amirul, please share your views for today's session.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so far the content is very interesting. Mostly the Wireshark. Yeah, I also have some experience in using Wireshark, so it's a fresh reminder for me also. So it's a good stuff. So far the quiz, the activities are great. I've finished all, right, except for day 4.
So, what about your experience while appearing on Test Your Knowledge activity?
Yeah, it's quite fun. And yeah, it's quite straightforward also. So it's quite interesting for me. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
one more thing, you may also upgrade your grades also.
I see.
We are very grateful if you attempt more questions, because every time new question has come in.
Oh, I see. Okay, I'll do that.
Suppose you make a first attempt, in the second attempt you got the newer questions. So you get the more exposure, you have able to touch more corners in each subject. So
I see.
we make quiz in such a way that every time you get the new questions,
Oh, interesting.
right?
So,
And you
yeah.
attend as much as in these activities, and these activities based questions help you in the final quiz.
Oh, okay, interesting. So it's limit to 5 attempts, right, for each quiz?
Yes, so 5 marks for each quiz, and the final quiz whose weightage is 50%. So 25 questions from each subject, means 5 marks from day 1, 5 marks for day 2, day 3, day 4, like that.
I see, understood.
Okay.
Right.
So I
Sorry?
request you all participants to try activity of day 1, day 2, day 3 as much as possible, so you get more assessment in each corner of each subject. Okay, now may I request Sok Sowan from Cambodia. You may please unmute yourself. Sok Sowan, CamCert, Cambodia. Okay, now Thirapal Nongwa from Thailand, please unmute yourself. If possible, you may also open your video, because I'm thinking that I'm not see you. Hello.
Message received from Therapol Nogon. My apology, I've had difficulty open. Okay, no comment during the session. There is a lot going on, and I am still in the learning process.
Okay, no issues. Now, Yi Mon Kwa from Malaysia.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
No, I'm from Myanmar.
Okay. Okay. You are from Myanmar. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Welcome to you. Yeah, please. Yeah. Okay. Now, please give your valuable suggestions and feedback for the overall course and today's course content.
Yeah. Today I noticed and avoid a lot of never forensic, and the lot depend on the vendor device. Thank you for sharing with us. I have a question. Yesterday I tested the exercise, but I didn't get the full score. Can I try again or not?
Yeah, you may try as much as possible.
Oh, yeah.
As much as numbers, because every time when you attempt the activities of day 1, day 2, 3, you
Yeah.
get new questions, means you get the assessment from each corner of the subject, because it is very difficult to cover the entire course in just 5 questions. So we make a question bank, and every time you get new questions. So you know where you are lagging, where you are more confident, where in which domain you are more strong. So you work according to that and balance the whole thing. And the major thing is that these 5 activities now once again come in front of you as a final quiz, because 60% marks is mandatory for certification. Okay, and one more thing, there is a chat session also. There is a chat session already open to you, and it is available on the clock. If you face any problem, if you have any doubt, you may ask, no issue. Right, but keep trying. Means once you, maybe there you got 5 out of 5 in the first attempt, no problem, you may apply once again, because we select the highest grade of you, not the lowest grade, not the average grade. We only choose the highest grade. Highest grade maybe you got in the first attempt, but you're not able to attempt all the questions. There are a lot of questions, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other thing you would like to say?
No, pass. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, Neeraj, you can brief about tomorrow, the last day. So actually we have the less time. So just summarize today what we going for the tomorrow, the last day.
Okay, all participants, tomorrow we will have a little bit earlier. There is a 10:30 to 11 discussion session is there, and feedback form, means feedback section is already open to you. Now you may you have a opportunity to give your valuable feedback in our feedback session, so we can evaluate well in time. So our feedback system open up to 11 a.m. 24th February 2023. After that, you're not able to give your valuable feedback, and feedback is mandatory, and quiz is mandatory for certification of the course. So may I request to all participants, kindly take some time and fulfill the feedback also. After 11 to 12, there is a quiz time is there. So quiz has been open for 1 hour from 11 a.m. to 12 a.m. as per Indian Standard Time. There may be a chance that due to internet or issues or other issues, you may not able to attend. No issues, you just inform us. We will arrange you another session for that. But we try to appear on the final quiz from 10 to 11 a.m. It is available for you. Sorry, 10 to 12, sorry, 11 to 12. As per Indian Standard Time, tomorrow it is available. After that, at 12:30, there is a evaluation session start, and it goes for next 30 minutes. And after that, our seniors are with you for final evaluations. Right? So this is the a little bit change on the tomorrow's, and there is one more session, investigation on web attacks, that we covered after discussion, right? So there will be a little bit change, but I request to all participants, you may first fill your feedback in the morning of tomorrow, right? So once you complete, then we start discussion session from 10:30 to 11. If you have no doubts, then we start our session on investigation on web attacks. Once it complete, then you appear on the quiz. Once quiz has been over, then we start evaluation session. So if you have any doubts, any queries, you may please ask or type on chat session.
Any doubt, any question you can ask regarding because training is not only related for material, it is also related to activities also. What timing, what going for question like quiz, feedback, session attending, everything is countable as a training. Normal college institution, that is only gain the knowledge, but here training focus and every activity, login session to leave session, comment each one. So if any doubt, any question, so you can ask for the tomorrow, because I want to 100% certification provide everyone, not only anyone miss this, because this is the first try through online such types of course for all of you. Okay. So
Now I have one request to all participants. For 15 seconds, just open your video. So we make a photo session, an online photo session, because this is a part of our administrative work, because every day we have such activities. So there is a attendance system also. So online combined photography shows that you are present in the session.
if today not possible, so maybe tomorrow. If anybody available to it, we can today.
So if you are comfortable, then you may please
Otherwise,
open your video for 15 seconds, just for taking a screenshot.
I think yes, only one ma'am, Muhammad Amir, Lavanya madam.
Arif sir also coming. Yeah.
Yeah, welcome, welcome. You are
Welcome.
very nice.
Okay.
And Thirupal.
Sok Saman sir and I from Myanmar, please.
Yes, yes, yes. Thank you, Thirupal. Okay.
Okay. Sok Saman is not available now. I is also not available. Okay, anyway, I'm just taking a screenshot. Have a smile, please. Thank you, everyone, for your kind attention, and have a patience to listen me for next 3 hours. Okay, thank you. Thank you to all of you.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste, namaste.
Thank you, sir.
Namaste.
Thank you. You can leave now. Thank you.
You are free to leave.
All right. Have a nice day.
Thank you.